Good morning, students. As today we have discussed chapter Source of Business Finance. Today we will discuss the back exercise of the chapter. Let's have a discussion. You have to answer the question. If you are unable to give the answer, then I'll explain that answer. Okay? So let's start from the Akshay. Akshay, please unmute yourself. Everybody has to give answer
Yes,
of
ma'am.
yes, at least 5 questions answers you have to give. And start reading and 1 to 5 answers please give. I think, I hope screen is visible to you. The questions are floating on the screen.
Ma'am, first 5 questions.
Yes, first 5 questions. That are floating on the screen. It's from the another book.
Equity shareholders are called.
Yes. As in the paper, you also find the MCQ, the multiple choice question, the same. You have the 4 choices and you have to choose one of the correct answer out of that. So equity shareholder.
First is owners of the company.
Yes, the correct answer is owners of the company. Yesterday we have discussed all those shareholders are the owner of the company. So very similar to that, equity shareholder are also the owner of the company. Absolutely correct. Yes, second question.
The term redeemable is used for.
Yes, the term redeemable is used for preference shares, equity share, commercial paper, or public deposits. What can be redeemable out of these?
Preferences shares.
Yes, preference shares can be redeemable because equity share cannot be redeemable throughout the life of the company. Very good. Next, funds required for purchasing. You read, please.
Funds required for purchasing current assets is an example of.
Yes, for purchasing of current assets, the funds are required. Do you agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever the funds are required for purchasing of current assets, what is it known? It is known as fixed capital requirement, working capital requirement, flowing back of profits, or lease financing.
Ma'am, I don't know about this.
You don't know. Anybody else can give the answer of this question?
Working capital requirement.
Very good. Tarun? Yes,
Yes.
it's working capital requirement. Please, okay, you don't have, whenever I send you the PDF, you please mark in the PDF. It is given the current assets, it's purchasing of current assets. So current assets related to the working capital requirement. While the fixed assets are related to the fixed assets, while the fixed assets are related to your fixed, like if you have to purchase your land and building, if you have to purchase anything else, land, building, plant, machinery, anything else that is related to your fixed assets are known as the fixed capital requirement. But if you want to purchase the assets that is related to your current assets, like the stock, these kind of assets, raw material you purchase, these kind of requirement are to be fulfilled, and the funds required for that is known as the working capital requirement, because these are the routine expenses you have. But the fixed capital requirements are those requirements which are related to your fixed capital only. I hope it is clear to everybody. Then I'll move ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Okay, ADRs are issued in dash Canada, India, China. Basically, the topic of the ADR has been deleted this time, but I told you to just have a slight reading because you should be well aware about the ADRs, IDRs, GDRs. As a commerce student, you should be aware. So I discussed it in my video. And I told you at that time, this is a deleted part, but you should learn the meaning, basic concept at least.
Ma'am, it's USA.
It's USA. Yes, correct answer. ADR are related to USA. Debentures represent fixed capital of the company, fluctuating capital, permanent capital, loan capital.
Loan capital of the
Very
company.
good. Yesterday I discussed, है ना? You remember we have discussed yesterday that these are the
Yes,
borrowing,
ma'am.
these are the loan from the public. Absolutely correct. You have given the good answers of these questions. Let's move to Tarun now. Tarun, question number 6. Tarun, please read question number 6 and answer it.
Dash are debit instrument that does not carry a specific rate of interest but issued at a heavy discount.
Yes. Name this instrument. What is it? Which carry a specific rate of interest but issued at a heavy discount. It is bonds. Okay, beta?
Okay, ma'am.
Next.
Dash is commonly used by business organization as a source of short-term financing.
For the short-term financing, what can we use?
Lease financing.
No, lease is for the long term.
Long term. ADR तो नहीं हो सकता. Trade credit, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely correct. The trade credit is the correct answer. These are commonly used by the business organization as a short-term financing. It is trade credit. 8th question. Answer read.
Dash are
Yes.
Dash are the unsecured short-term deposits made by a company with another company.
Hmm. Which one is this? You have done this, beta. I expressed the basic concept when we did this chapter. It's ICD, intercorporate deposit.
Deposits.
Clear by very much sounding in the question as well. The short-term deposits these are and made by the company with another company. When it take place between the two company, what does it mean? It's intercorporate. So the answer is intercorporate deposits. 9th question.
मैम मैच द फॉलोइंग इसमें पूरे नहीं है मैम.
Yes, I'm scrolling the screen. Just wait. Give me a second. Yes. 3 matches are there. One, you please read.
It facilitates the purchase of goods and service without making immediate payment.
Yes.
मैम retained earnings.
Give me a second. Purchase of goods and services without making immediate payment. How? Tarun, please explain how it will be. Tarun has left the meeting, so I just over to Janvi. Janvi, you please explain the 9th question. Tarun, just I think just because of connectivity issue, he left the meeting.
Ma'am, first A, answer of first is A, second is B, and
Yes,
third
first
is
is
C.
trade credit, absolutely correct, because it facilitates to purchase the goods and services without making the immediate payment, because the trade credit is there. When the payment is not to be made, it means it's a credit transaction, so credit will be there. So next, second
Retained earnings.
Second is that is yes, the part of profit is kept and reserved for the use of future is known as retained earning. Absolutely.
Earnings.
Third one,
And
that is
third is
that will be
preference share.
the third answer. That is yes, preference share. Absolutely correct. So let's move to the next questions. These are true and false. Janvi, please give the answer of next 3 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
11th, 12th. Read the statement
Ma'am,
and answer.
finance invested in fixed assets is called working capital. Fools.
Yes, it's false. What is said? What is to be said?
Oh,
If I give
fixed
you
capital.
in the form of filling the blanks, that finance invested in fixed asset is called dash. What should be the answer?
Fixed capital. Oh,
Yes, it will be fixed capital. Everybody, please listen all these things very carefully, because you have to send a PDF to me, the answers of these questions. You have to write the question as well as answer and send PDF to me, and put it in your file as well. Whatever the file, the project file will be there. It will be the part of that project file. So do it on the papers and put it in the file. So whenever you write the answer like of 10th question, it is false, then you have to underline that what is false over here and write the correct. Like finance invested in fixed asset, you please underline working capital, and on the place of working capital write fixed capital. Okay, I hope everybody got that how the PDF is to be maintained, how the presentation is to be done, and then it is to be sent in the PDF. You have to keep the manual copy with you as a record that I check at the time of Viva and the internal assessment, and send PDF to me, because I just want to give marks for your participation. If your participation is good, you will get the marks accordingly. 10 marks will be of the participation and 10 marks will be of the Viva at that time. The next question, let's move. 11th. Janvi, please read the 11th question.
Working capital is raised through short-term funds. True.
Working capital is raised through short-term funds. Yes, it's absolutely true. Next.
Preference shares carry preferential rights over the equity shares as regards payment of dividend, dividend repayment of capital.
Yes, dividend and repayment of capital. Do preference share has a preferential right?
Yes, ma'am.
If preference shares has a preferential right, then what the equity share has? Which right the equity shares has? If the preferential shares has preference share has preferential right, then what the equity share has? Which right is obtained by the equity shares? Anybody else can give the answer of this question? Please raise your hand if you are able to give the answer. Yes, Manvi. The equity share has which right? Please unmute yourself and give the answer, Manvi.
Ma'am, voting rights.
Yes. Preference share has a preferential right while the equity share has the voting right. Very good. Absolutely correct answer, Manvi. Very good. Manvi, now it's over to you and give the answer of next 5 questions, please.
A debenture is an acknowledgement of debt. True.
Yes, a debenture is the acknowledgement of debt, while the share is an acknowledgement of
A part of capital.
yes, owned fund, we can say, capital fund, whatever the answer you can say. Okay,
Okay.
go for
Yes, ma'am.
the next.
Debenture holders are entitled to a fixed rate of interest. True.
Yes, absolutely, because it's specifically mentioned before the name of the debenture, like the 9% debentures are there, it means 9% rate of interest is to be provided to that debenture holders. So that's why it is fixed always.
Okay. Ma'am, next. Name the capital invested in. Name the capital in permanent assets. Fixed capital.
Very good. Go for the next.
Name the funds needed for day-to-day operations of business. Working capital.
Yes, absolutely correct.
Which concern, a trading concern or a manufacturing concern, will have large amount of fund of fixed capitals?
Yes.
A manufacturing concern.
Why? Give result to support your answer.
Ma'am, because he has to establish large machineries
Or
or plants for the manufacturing or goods.
it has to. It has to invest in the plant and machinery, manufacturing units. Correct, absolutely. Now over to Gav. Gav, please answer the next 5 questions. Gav, unmute yourself. If you will not be able to give the answer, I am there to help you. So don't feel shy, don't afraid of. I'm there to help you. You please start doing. I'll elaborate with you. Question number 18th. Please read.
Ma'am, Neha seed good on credit while
Pankuri.
Pangreed let's sell goods on cash basis. Which company will requires more working capital?
Yes, which company require more working capital? The company who is selling the goods on credit, or that is Neha Limited, or the Fulkari Limited who sell the goods on the cash basis. They are getting the cash immediately. Which require more working capital?
Ma'am,
Neha Limited, because they are selling the goods on credit. There will be more data, kept more stock. While on the Pankudi Limited, just selling the goods on the cash basis, immediately they are getting the cash and they can bring the more stock. So they no need to maintain the working capital more. So Neha Limited is required to maintain more working capital. Why equity share capital is called the risk capital? Why it is called? It is very important. While discussing this chapter, I highlight this point again and again that equity share is a risk capital because it do not have any fixed rate of dividend.
capital.
That's why equity shareholder are called the risk capital. Sometimes they get the surplus, but sometimes they did not get anything out of profit as a dividend. Next, why equity shares refer to a residual owners? Again, it is known as a residual owners because they do not get any fixed dividend. Moreover, they paid only when the tax and interest on loan after paying tax, interest on loan as well as dividend to preference share, whatever is left over there, it is provided to the equity shareholders. That's why they are known as the residual shares. Why equity share capital is a permanent capital? Because it is to be paid only at the time of the winding up of the company. It is not redeemable. It is not to be repaid throughout the life of the company. So that's why it is known as a permanent capital. Why the debentures are known as borrowed fund? Yesterday I also expressed this concept that the debentures are the borrowed fund. Why the debentures are known as a borrowed fund? You should give the answer of this question because I have just stated this answer yesterday. Yesterday, when we do the group discussion of this chapter, I discusses it again and again that debenture holder are known as the borrowed funds. Why? Why they are known as the borrowed funds? Because the company raised the loan from the public in the form of debenture or by issuing the debenture to them with a fixed rate of interest. That's why it is known as the borrowed funds. Name the source of finance which is available to the normal course of purchase of goods. Very simple, trade credit. Why share capital is known as the own funds? As debentures, when we talk about the debenture, we just consider it as a borrowed fund. It is a kind of loan borrowed from the public. Very much that the share capital, the own funds are related to the owners of the company who invest the capital in the company in the form of shares. They are known as the real owners of the company. That's why shareholder is no, share capital is known as a borrowed fund, own funds. Why retained profits are called self-financing? Anybody else can give the answer? The retained earning is known as the, because it is a part of profit that is retained, that is kept by the business. So it is kept by the business. Whenever it is required, it is to be used in the business. So that's why it is known as self-financing. Himanshu, now over to you. Please give the answer of next 5 questions. 26 to 30, fast. Himanshu Miglani, unmute yourself and give the answer of last 5 questions quickly. Yes, Himanshu, unmute yourself, beta. Instead of raising the hand, unmute yourself and give the answer of these questions. Himanshu, unmute yourself fast. Gurjeet, Himanshu has some connectivity problem. He sent a message. You please connect yourself, unmute yourself and give the answer of next 5 questions. Good morning, beta.
Good morning, ma'am. 28th question.
जी बेटा, no, it's from 26 to 30. Last 5 questions.
Mm,
Screen is not visible to you? Name 2 companies which have raised money through issued GDRs. Yes, Tarun, answer, you have raised the hand.
Ma'am, Reliance Industries.
Yes, very good. And the second one is Infosys. The one is Reliance, another is Infosys. Absolutely correct answer. Very good, Tarun. Let's go for the next, Gurjeet. Gurjeet, please be quick because time is very less with us. Gurjeet, unmute yourself and give the answer of next questions.
ये वाला नहीं आ रहा.
कोई बात नहीं, you just read it. I'll help you. A company wants to issue such share which do not have right of preference for the payment, means they don't have the preferential right. So name those shares which don't have the preferential right. There are 2 rights. One is preferential right, another is the voting right. Whether the shareholder, definitely it will be there, whether the shareholder have the preferential right or whether they have the voting right. If the shareholder don't have the preferential right, which kind of shares these are? Okay, you just give me and let me know which shareholder have the preferential right. Which shares has the, if you have listened me carefully yesterday only, I'm not talking about the previous lecture that I have given the full-fledged one. If you have listened me yesterday only, then you are able to give the answer. And today as well. Name those shareholders which have the preferential right. Anybody else can please raise your hand. It's a matter of highly disappointment and nobody knows. I just discussed it today as well as yesterday. Name the shareholder which have the preferential right. It is very bad. It means you people are not listening me carefully. For whom I am speaking? If you don't want to do, you just let me know clearly. I'll just stop it. I'll not put up any effort for you. Please give me the answer, everybody. Actually, unmute yourself. Who has a preferential right? Who has a preferential right, Akshay? Name the shareholders which have the preferential right, or the shareholder which have the preferential right called as Garv. Janvi, can you explain this? The shareholder which have the preferential right are called as?
Preferential shareholders.
Yes, preference shareholder, very simple. And the shareholder which have the voting right?
Debenture holders.
No, that are the borrowed funds.
Yes.
So which have the voting right?
Shareholders.
Which shareholder has a voting right? Okay, how many type of shareholders are there? How many type of shareholder are there? We have discussed so far. Anybody else can tell me how many types of shareholders are there? There are 2 type of shareholder. One is equity shareholder, another is preference shareholder. Preference shareholder has a preferential right while the equity shareholder has the voting right. clear to everybody now? If anybody have any doubt, please raise your hand. I'll explain it again. Two type of shareholders are there: equity shareholder, preference shareholder. The shareholder which has the voting right, they are the equity shareholder. They have right to vote in the company annual general meeting, but they cannot get any amount up to the liquidation of the company. This is their right. But on the other side, the preference shareholder, they don't have the voting right in the meetings of the company, but they get the preferential right to get the payment of the dividend as well as capital at the time of winding up of the company. Please write down, please mark it in your book, whichever you feel comfortable to learn and understand and retain. Do use that method, but it should be retained by you. Next time, whenever I ask, you should just give the answers so confidently. It is a basic knowledge that every commerce student or the commerce person is supposed to have. It's the basic knowledge. This is the basic concept of the share capital. And I discuss so many times in the class as well during my videos. So the appropriate answer of 27 question: the company wants to issue such shares which do not have the right of preferential payment of the dividend and refund of the capital at the time of liquidation. These shares are known as the equity shares because they don't have the preference right, but they will have the voting right.
Voting right.
28. Anybody else can read? 28.
मैम इंटरकॉर्पोरेट वाला है इसका आंसर.
You read the question first. Read the question first. It enhances your reading skill. Read the question, beta. It enhances your reading skill. Don't feel shy for reading. Gurjeet, don't be so shy.
Yes, ma'am.
Read the question, beta. Screen is not visible to you.
Ma'am, answer intercorporate deposit.
I want the reading the question first because it enhances your reading skill. Read the question first. Then I'll let you know that you are saying the correct answer or incorrect answer. Gurjeet, read the question, beta.
Narayan Trader Limited is a company that deals in wholesale business of rice. The
Yes.
finance manager of the company, Mr. Radhashyam Das, arranges unsecured short-term finance for the company. The rate of interest to be paid on the finance is more than the bank rate of interest. Identify the source of finance.
Yes, it will be IC.
Intercorp.
Yes, intercorporate deposit. Absolutely correct answer.
मैम मेरे को लगा खुद मन में रीड करना है इसलिए.
Okay. No, you have to speak. Okay, go for the next, beta. 29th.
A foreign country, Gyro Limited, wants to collect money from the capital market of India. The finance manager of the company, Mr. Robert, wants to issue a financial instrument which, instead of being in
Dollars. Yes.
shall be denominated in rupees. One of the characteristics of this financial instrument is that it can go listed in any Indian stock exchange.
Yes.
Identify the financial instrument.
Yes. Name the financial instrument that is done for the international dealings.
IDR.
Very good. It's IDR. The full form of IDR is?
Indian Depository.
Yes, in rupee. The clue has been given to us. It is not being issued in dollar. It is issued in rupee. It is IDR, Indian Depository Receipt. Very good. Go for the next, beta.
Pranav Udyog Limited is a company manufacturing electric devices. The company financial manager, Mr. Dhruv, in order to fulfill the long-term financial need, wants to raise the cheapest source of finance. Identify the source of finance.
Yes.
Identify.
Manufacturing electric devices, they are manufacturing the electric devices and the company's financial manager to in order to fulfill the long-term financial needs. He wants to fulfill the long-term needs from the cheapest source of finance. So to fulfill, you may get the question like this in the paper as well. Name the source of finance which is the cheapest source of finance to fulfill the long-term needs. The name is debentures.
So, debenture.
Debentures. Okay, so answer is debentures here. Go for the next.
An Indian company, Vandana Limited, in order to cater to its financial needs, want to issue such an international financial instrument which can be issued only to the American residents.
Yes.
Identify the financial instruments.
So that for the international transaction that
ADR.
yes, these are ADR, American
ADR.
Depository Receipts.
Receipts.
Absolutely correct, beta. Himanshu, over to you now and give the answer of last two questions, 32 and 33 fast. Be quick. Last 3 minutes are left with us. Himanshu, be quick. Last 3 minutes are left. Fashion hut are reputed garment manufacturing units need to meet the day-to-day expenses like wages, rent, maintaining stock of material, etc. The owner approaches the supplier and the raw material to give credit for 2 months. So he can get the cloth making garments without making the immediate payment. The supplier made the inquiry regarding the business organization and found that its reputation was very good. And so it extended the 2 months credit to it. So which kind of source of finance is discussed over here? It is trade credit because the credit facility has been provided. 33. C Limited has a planning to modernize the plant and the latest technology. The company is not having the sufficient money. The finance manager plans to arrange money for the 3 years since after the company is expecting a good return on investment. The finance manager doesn't want to spend on the flotation cost and the issue of shares of the venture. Identify the suitable source of finance and it is the public deposit because no flotation cost will be there on the public deposits. So it is all about for the day. We have discussed all the multiple choice, true, false, 1 mark carry question. You have to write and learn each and every question as well as answer. And send PDF to me. And it will be, it is the manual copy is to be kept by you in your file as a project work. Every day we will discuss these kind of questions of every unit and case study as well. You have to maintain a proper record and submit me as a project file, and which will help you to get the good marks in your internal assessment. This is all about for the day. That's all. Thank you. Have a nice day.